Okay, I said nonchalantly. Might as well. I sat between them, and Johnny sat next to Sherry. How old are y'all? Marcia asked. 14, I said. 16, said Johnny. That's funny, Marcia said. I thought you were both 16, Sherry finished for her. I was grateful. Johnny looked 14, and he knew it, and it bugged him something awful. Johnny grinned. How come y'all ain't scared of us like you were Daly? Sherry sighed. You two are too sweet to scare anyone. First of all, you didn't join in Dallas's dirty talk, and you made him leave us alone. And when we asked you to sit up here with us, you didn't act like it was an invitation to make out for the night. Besides that, we heard about Dallas Winston, and he looked as hard as nails and twice as tough. And you two don't look mean. Sure, I said tartly. We're the young and innocent. No, Sherry said slowly, looking at me carefully. Not innocent. You've seen too much to be innocent, just not dirty. Daly's okay, Johnny said defensively, and I nodded. You take up for your buddies no matter what they do. When you're in a gang, you stick up for the members. You don't stick up for them, stick together, make like brothers. Isn't it isn't a gang anymore. It's a pack. A snarling, distrustful, bittering pack like the Socias and their social clubs, or in the street gangs in New York, or the wolves in the timber. He's tough, but he's a cool old guy. He'd leave you alone if he knew you, I said, and that was true. When Stephen's cousin from Kansas came down, Daly was decent to her and watched his swearing. We all did around nice girls who were the cousinly type. I don't know how to explain it. We try to be nice to girls we see once in a while, like cousins or girls in class, but we still watch a nice girl go by in a street corner and say all kinds of lousy stuff about her. Don't ask me why. I don't know why. Well, Marcia said with finality, I'm glad he doesn't know us. I kind of admire him, Sherry said softly. So only I heard then I and then we settled down to watch the movie. Oh yeah, we found out why they weren't without a car. They come with their boyfriends but walked out on them when they found out the boys had brought some booze along. The boys had gotten angry and left. I don't care if they did, Cherry sounded annoyed. It's not my idea of a good time to sit in a drive-in and watch people get drunk. You could tell by the way she said it that her that her idea of a good time was probably high class and probably expensive. They decided to stay and see the movie anyway. It was one of those beach party movies with no plot and no acting, but a lot of girls in bikinis and some swinging songs. So it was all right. We are all four sitting in the silence when suddenly a strong hand came down on Johnny's shoulder and another on mine, and a deep voice said, Okay, greasers, you've had it. I almost jumped out of my skin. It was like having someone leap out from behind you and yell boo at you. I looked fearfully over my shoulder, and there was Two Bit grinning like a cheesy cat. Glory, Two Bit scared us to death. He was good at voice imitations and sounded for all the world like a snarling Soch. Then I looked at Johnny. His eyes were shut as if he had seen as if he was white as a ghost. His breath was coming in smothering gasps. Two Bit knew better than to scare Johnny like that. I guess he'd forgotten. He's kind of scatterbrained. Johnny opened his eyes and said weakly, Hey, Two Bit. Two Bit messed up his hair. Sorry, kid, he said. I forgot. He climbed over the chair and plopped down beside Marcia. Who's this, your great aunt's? Great grandmother's twice removed, Sherry said smoothly. I couldn't tell if Two Bit was drunk or not. It kind of hard to tell with him. He acts boozed up sometimes, even when he's sober. He cocked one eyebrow up and the other down, which he does when he something puzzles him and bothers him, or feels like he's saying something smart. Shoot, you're 96 if you're a day. I'm a knight, Marcia said brightly. Two-Bit stared at her admiringly. Brother, you're a sharp one. Where'd you two ever get picked up by a couple greasy hoods like Pony and Johnny? We actually picked them up, Marcia said. We're really Arabian slave traders, and we're thinking about Shanghaiing them. They're worth 10 camels apiece at least. 5, Two-Bit disagreed. They don't talk Arabian, I don't think. Say something in Arabian, Johnny Cake. Aw, cut it out, Johnny broke in. Daly was bothering them, and when he left, they wanted us to sit with them to protect them against wisecrack greasers like you, probably. Two-Bit grinned, because Johnny didn't usually get sassy like that. We thought we were doing good if we could get him talking at all. Incidentally, we don't mind being called greasers by another greaser. It's kind of playful then. Hey, where's old Daly anyways? He went hunting some action. Booze or dames or fight. I hope he didn't get jailed again. Just got out. Probably find a fight, Two-Bit stated cheerfully. That's why I came over. Mr. Timothy Shepard and company are looking for whoever so kindly slashed their car's tires. And since Mr. Curly Shepard spotted Dallas doing it, well, does Daly have a blade? Not that I know of, I said. I think he got a piece of pipe, but he busted his blade this morning. Good. Tim'll fight fair if Daly don't pull a blade on him. Daly shouldn't have any trouble. Sherry and Marcia were staring at us. You don't believe in playing rough or anything, do you? A fair fight ain't rough, Two-Bit said. Blades are rough, so chains and heaters and pool sticks are rumbles. Skin fighting isn't rough. It blows off steam better than anything. There's nothing wrong with throwing a few punches. Soches are rough. They gang up on one or two, or they rumble with each other with their social clubs. Us greasers usually stick together. But when we do fight among ourselves, it's a fair fight between two. And Daly deserves whatever he gets, because slashed tires ain't no joke when you gotta work to pay for them. He got spotted too, and that's his fault. Our one rule besides stick together is don't get caught. But he might get beat up and he might not. Either way, there's nothing going to be any blood feud between our outfit and Shepard's. If we need them tomorrow, they'll show. If Tim beats Daly's head in and then tomorrow asks us for help in a rumble, we'll show. Daly was getting kicks. He got caught. He pays up, no sweat. Yeah, boy, Sherry said sarcastically, real simple. Sure, Marcia said, unconcerned. If he gets killed or something, you'll just bury him, no sweat. You dig okay, baby. Two-Bit grinned and lit a cigarette. Anyone want a weed? I looked at Two-Bit admiringly. He sure put things into words good, but he was still a junior at 18 and a half, and maybe his sideburns were too long, and maybe he did get boozed up too much, but he sure understood things. Sherry and Marcia shook their heads and as offering of cigarettes. But Johnny and I reached for one. Johnny's color was back and his breathing was regular, but his hand was shaking ever so slightly. A cigarette would steady it. Pony Boy, will you ever come get some popcorn? Sherry asked. I jumped up. Sure. You all want some? I do, said Marcia. She was finishing the Coke Daly had given her. I realized then that Marcia and Sherry weren't alike. Sherry had said she wouldn't drink Daly's Coke if she was starving, and she meant it. It was the principle of the thing. But Marcia saw no reason to throw away a perfectly good free Coke. Me too, said Two-Bit. He flipped me a 50-cent piece. Get Johnny some too. I'm buying. He added as Johnny started to reach into his jean pocket. We went to the concession stand as usual, there were a line a mile long, so we had to wait. Quite a few kids turned to us. Didn't see a Kid Grease and a Sochi cheerleader together often. Cherry didn't seem to notice it. Your friend, the one with the sideburns, he's okay. He ain't dangerous like Daly, if that's what you mean. He's okay. She smiled at, and her eyes showed that her mind was on something else. Johnny, he's been hurt bad sometime, hasn't he? It was more of a statement than a question. Hurt and scared. It was a Soch's, I said nervously, because there were plenty of Soch's milling around, and some of them were giving me funny looks, as if I shouldn't be with Cherry or something. And I didn't like to talk about it, Johnny getting beat up by me. But I started in, talking a little bit faster than I normally do. More think about it. I don't like to think about it either. It was about 4 months ago. I had walked down to the DX station to get a bottle of pop and to see Steve and Soda because they'll always buy me a couple bottles and let me help work on cars. I don't like to go on the weekends because that's when a bunch of girls down there flirting with Soda. All kinds of girls, socias too. I don't I didn't care too much for the girls yet. Soda says I'll grow out of it. He did. I It was a warmest spring day and the sun was shining bright, but it was getting chilly and dark by the time we were starting for home. We were walking because we left Steve's car at the station. At the corner of our block, there was a wide open field where we play football and hang out. And it's often a site for rumbles and fistfights. We were passing by it, kicking rocks down the street and finishing our last bottle of Pepsi when Steve noticed something lying on the ground. He picked it up. It was Johnny's blue jeans jacket, and the only jacket he had. Looks like Johnny forgot his jacket, Steve said, slinging it over his shoulder to take it to Johnny's house. Suddenly, he stopped and examined it more carefully. There was a stain the color of rust around the collar. He looked at the ground. There were some more stains on the grass. He looked up across the field at the stricken expression on his face. I think we heard a low moan and saw a dark, motionless hump on the side of the lot at the same time. Soda reached him first. Johnny was lying face down on the ground. Soda turned over gently, and I nearly got sick. Someone had beaten him up badly. We were used to seeing Johnny banged up. His father clobbered him around a lot. And although it made us madder than heck, we couldn't do anything about it. But those beatings were nothing like this. Johnny's face was cut up and bruised and swollen, his wide gash from his temples to his cheekbone. He would carry that scar all his life. His white T-skirt was splattered with blood. I just stood there, trembling with sudden cold. I thought he might be dead. Surely nobody could be beaten like that and live. Steve closed his eyes for a second and muffled a groan as he dropped to his knees beside Soda. Somehow the gang sensed what had happened. Two-Bit was suddenly there beside me, one comical grin, and was gone and his dancing gray eyes were stormy. Derry had seen us from a porch and ran toward us, suddenly skidding to a halt. Daly was there too, swearing under his breath and turning away, sick expression on his face. I wondered about it vaguely. Daly had seen people killed in the streets in New York's West Side. Why did he look sick now? Johnny sort of lifts him up, got him to his shoulders, gave him a limp body a shake. Hey, Johnny Cake. Johnny didn't open his eyes, but there was a soft question. Soda? Yeah, it's me, Soda Pop said. Don't talk. You're going to be okay.